Trenton 365 with Jacques Howard. Profiling the businesses, organizations, and people that make Trenton better.
Hello, friend, and welcome to the Trenton 365 show. I'm your host, Jacques Howard. Welcome. You're listening over WIMG 1300, New Jersey's oldest radio station and the four-time Stellar Award-winning gospel station, as well as the one-time Praise Award gospel station as well. You can follow us on social media, WIMG 1300. That's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you're watching over WPHY, Channel 25, covering Mercer County, New Jersey through Verizon Fios. The Trenton 365 show has a Facebook page, and you can also follow me on Facebook as well as Instagram and Twitter. Instagram and Twitter is at Trenton365. So in the studio with me, we've got some a newer type of segment, but all kind of ties in with the whole idea of fashion and health and nutrition, etc. In the studio, I've got Jackie Quattro, and I've had Tinisee Buckman. Jackie is the owner of Jersey Shore Cosmetics, and Tinisee is the creative director. We're going to be talking about the brand itself, a bit about homeopathy, so to speak, and then we'll also be talking about a forthcoming event that's happening this coming Sunday at the Blowout Lounge and Color Bar in Hamilton Square, New Jersey. So Tinisee, I'm going to start with Jackie first, but we do have an older relationship than with Jackie. But Jackie, welcome to the Trenton 365 show.
Thank you, Jacques.
It's a pleasure to meet you in person.
Nice to meet you.
I do want to I'll tell people a bit about my how I met Tinisee and so forth, but I want to talk about your product and my experience so far. I've been fortunate enough to try your water, the two different versions of the water, the one that's infused with caffeine and the one that is not. And in addition to that, I've had a chance to utilize your lip balms. And oftentimes I think most men think about cosmetics, they think about it's only for women. It's only for women, but the industry is changing quite a bit. There's more men who are becoming more concerned about their appearance and the importance of hydrating their body and their faces. And it was just, it was almost providential that I met Tinisee over at Nacone Martin's house when she was prepping for one of her film premieres, and he did a fantastic job of doing the makeup. So kudos to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So let's talk about the impetus behind starting Jersey Shore Cosmetics. And I say that because although it being a multi-billion-dollar industry, that's a global industry, it's you don't hear so much about startups doing that, especially here in New Jersey.
Yes. Okay, I started Jersey Shore Cosmetics back in 2010 officially. Prior to that, several years before that, I was doing...
Come closer to the mic.
Okay, I'm sorry.
There you go.
Okay. Several years before that, I was doing a little R&D, doing some research, development, and kept having to kind of put it on the shelf because it was very, very expensive. Mm-hmm. So finally in 2010, I think we launched our first products. It started with sunscreens because sunscreens are like the worst offenders when it comes to toxins in the skin and in the body. So I started with sunscreens, and we started with Jersey Shore Sun, which was a line of non-toxic, all-natural sunscreens. And then we did organic hand cleansers because I had a young son who has very, very sensitive skin and sensory issues, so I had to have something that was like unscented and alcohol-free. And then we went with lip balms. The Mongongo lip balms are I would say they're the biggest sellers. They're our hero product. Everybody loves them. We've sold probably more than 3 million to date. And it took us about 14 R&D tries before we got the first scent down pat. And I thought my formulator was going to fire me and say, I'm not working with you anymore. It had to be just perfect. And then we went from there and created a lot of other non-toxic products and skincare products and makeup. So I have 25 plus years in the industry background. I worked for high-end cosmetics lines and high-end retailers, Neiman Marcus, Saks Fifth Avenue, and all the top designer brands. But after doing that for so long and being so sensitive to toxins and high-end cosmetics and designer cosmetics, I always wanted to create my own line of cosmetics. I grew up in South Jersey in the Pinelands, very sheltered life on a farm, and my mother always had home remedies. Everything was like olive oil or baking soda or whatever, So and those things worked. Organic and natural worked. So I kind of went full circle. I split out of the country the second I was old enough, reached for the stars, all the sparkly stuff, and then I came full circle back to organic and natural. Let's see.
Well, I want to jump in there because I think that's a lot of information, and thank you for sharing a bit about it. And I don't know who the author is of this, but there's that saying, a person travels all over the world searching for something only to return home and find it.
Yes.
And I think that you did a fantastic job of explaining that.
Yes,
And for the folks who are going to be watching on television and when this is broadcast, you are going to be amazed at both of their complexions. It's
Thank you.
I'll be 50 soon. So I'm on this whole.
You look amazing.
Thank you. So I'm on this whole quest about how do I, as a 50-year-old man of color here in the United States, how do I take what I'm doing and share this information and knowledge so that people can be in the best health of their lives? And part of that, as Tinisee so eloquently explained in detail when we sat down and chatted a couple of times.
He's fantastic.
He absolutely is. About your skin and how important it is, and putting certain products on and what you can expect from that. And when he explained that to me, and then he was saying, this is what Jersey Shore Cosmetics is about.
Exactly.
And I started doing a bit more research because that's just what I do. I have to follow up with what I present to my audience.
Exactly.
And it's checking all the boxes like,
Yes. Thank
like
you.
bang, this is right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So Tinisee, I want to jump over and talk to you because although I've known you a bit longer than Jackie, but it's been a very rapid friendship that we're developing here. And I want you to, so to speak, take me full circle with you realizing, hey, I'm a makeup artist and I'm very good at what I do, and how you've gotten to this position as creative director for this amazing line of products.
Okay. Well, thank you again, Jock, for having me here. And I have to say the journey to become a makeup artist was very much a Cinderella story. I was working at Sears in Quaker Bridge Mall, and I went on a lunch break with my coworker, and she wanted to go grab a lip gloss from MAC, and I had no idea what that was. That's how lost I was on the whole cosmetics world. So when we went to the counter, I was amazed by just how much of a different world it was in like colors and smells and the artisans and how diverse they are and how they expressed in texture, and it really fascinated me. So I kept going back on my lunch break. Eventually, the manager noticed me and she said, I like your attitude. I like your personality. Do you do makeup? And I told her, no, I have no history in makeup. And then she handed off a application. She's like, take it. You're going to do great. And within 5 months, I was working at Quaker Bridge Mall, and I was working there for about 8 years until I transferred to Freehold. And I really didn't I didn't get that I was, it was a specific gift until I started doing a lot of editorial work, and I started to see my work through the eyes of photographers, and how they would tell me, I've never had someone do such great work where I didn't have to edit so much, where I didn't have to play around with Photoshop details. And it was something that I thought was standard. I thought every artist was doing exactly what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And then when I was 22, I had an opportunity to do makeup for a photographer named Brian Taylor Johnson, and that work ended up featured in Italian Vogue. And then the ball started rolling. Then I started doing a lot of styling work in New York, and I started doing a lot of makeup, and it just kept going. It's almost like a domino effect. And so coming back to Jersey, and again, like how Jackie said, you go all over the world just to come back. And I came back to Jersey, working in Freehold. That's how me and Jackie met at MAC. She came in. I was just doing her makeup, and we started talking about, I think it was mineral powders. And I was fascinated by it because I personally can't stand the smell of mineral powders because I love the fact that they're natural. It breathes. It really has like a nurturing quality. And we were talking about the smell, and then I was still fascinated by the fact that she was, a woman who had her own cosmetics line, and I think that's where the connection happened.
Now, Jackie, I want to transition back to you and talk to you about the idea of being an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Again, not only is this a huge industry, and I think people are born almost exposed to makeup. You see women on television, and you see women in your life who wear makeup, even if it's something as simple as eyeliner and lipstick. But to want to take that step, to say, I want to be an entrepreneur, and I think that I can put together a better product than what's already out there. Yes. Talk about that process.
Okay, it's funny you should ask that because I get asked that a lot. I realize that it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it is growing year over year, 10, 11% year over year for the past 10 years. And people would say, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It is extremely saturated. What are you going to do that's different? And I said, I'm not trying to, reinvent the wheel, but if I could just do a little bit and make a difference in just a few people's lives, it'll be worth it to me. So when I started creating or, going back and forth with the Sun products, okay, we're Jersey, we're Shore, Sun, it just made sense. I'm like, there's probably not going to be a lot of people who want to pay $40 an ounce for sunscreen, or $22, for 2 ounces of kids' sunscreen or whatever, but it's important to put it out there. And when I grow and could make larger runs, the cost of goods could go down. Okay, so it may not have a lot of fans, that'll buy these products at first because they're expensive, but the ingredients are very important to me, and so the cost of raw goods was very expensive. And I said, I'm going to spend the next few years gaining brand recognition. So when I'm ready to sell and get the cost of goods down, people will have heard our name and they'll know who we are. So that was my strategy. I just knew I could do it, and I moved by the Spirit of God. And there's been since I've been running this alone for so many years, there have been times when I just felt like quitting or giving up, and then I would get a God wink, and something would push me and say, you have to keep going. So I figured I didn't have to know why or where it was going. I just needed to be moved and just keep doing it as long as God told me to keep doing it. So that's what I run on. So people thought you're crazy, but it's worked. We've grown. It's worked. The word is out there. We're extremely popular. We have brand recognition. I work very hard. I still have kids in school, I still have to go to recitals and pick the kid up after school and go grocery shopping and clean my own house. It's really hard, but, God makes a way. He makes a way. If he wants you to do something, he'll help you, do it. So I
want to interrupt you because we're up on a break, but I do want to say be edified and be encouraged. I think that so much of what we do in life, we have faith a lot of times in things like sitting in a chair, driving in a car, all those different things. But I think that when we can have that relationship with God where we can say, hey, look, God, I'm doing this because I feel as though you're telling me to do this, and I have no idea. It's almost that blind faith. I think that you get rewarded for that. So be encouraged. And I want to make sure that you understand that.
Thank you. I do understand that wholly. And I grew up in a Christian-based household, so I'm quite aware of that. And as long as you're doing something that's thoroughly good and you feel good about it, it will grow and develop, okay? So I feel good about the ingredients that I choose for my products. I feel that they're nourishing. They're food for your skin. They feed your skin. What goes on the outside goes on the inside. Anything you put on your skin is going to be absorbed into your bloodstream. So I feel good that I'm giving you non-toxic ingredients, and I feel comfortable about what I'm offering the public, So it's easier to do what you're doing when you feel good about what you're doing and you're doing the right thing.
Tinisee, share the contact information for Jersey Shore Cosmetics and briefly about what's happening on Sunday.
All right. So to get more information on Jersey Shore Cosmetics, go to www.jerseyshorecosmetics.com. And on the 9th of December, we will be launching our new color line, which are vivid, bold colors utilizing natural ingredients and honestly one of the best collections I've ever played with, especially with 11 years experience in makeup.
Thank you.
Seriously, Jackie, you've done something brilliant, and I love the fact that we're combining nature and science in a very smart way.
Great. I'm glad you said that. We'll follow up with that after the break. You're listening and watching the Trenton 365 show over WIMG 1300 and WPHY Channel 25, covering Mercer County, New Jersey.
Happy holidays, everybody. It's Trust by Tony and Keisha. Let us be the inspiration for your Christmas shopping this year. There's so many amazing gifts to choose from for your apparel and accessory needs. Encourage someone, inspire someone, and give love this holiday season. Check out Trust by Tony and Keisha at trusttk.com and let us be your choice for a great gift this year.
I'm not much of a dancer. Never have been. Not at weddings, not at concerts, not even when my favorite song is on the radio. But there's something about seeing exactly what I ordered arrive at my facility's door the day after I ordered it. That gets my foot a-tapping. That's why I love Grainger. With 99% of in-stock items shipping the same day they're ordered, they get us what we need when we need it. Which means we keep moving and I keep grooving. Call clickgrainger.com or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Show. You can send me an email, Trenton365show@gmail.com. You can also call me, 609-433-0489. I will return your call, but don't call me on Sunday. So now I've got Dennis in the studio sitting with Jackie. So Dennis Quattro, he is the Vice President of Jersey Shore Cosmetics. And Dennis, thanks for a couple of minutes of your time as well. I'd like for you to share a little bit about your how do I say it, not only your exposure, but your interest in cosmetics and skincare.
I'll be very honest. My mom rubbed her influence on me. Ever since I was very young, she got me skincare products. She got me moisturizers, like really young, when I didn't even need to be caring about this because my skin was fine. Like, you know, you're 12 years old. You don't need all that. But she helped me get into a routine. And now that I'm older, I'm now 24, everything she's taught me at a young age, it carried with me. And her passion has become my passion as well.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's interesting that you say at a young age, because I think that we have a tendency to either want to push children into doing something that adults aren't doing, mm-hmm. but right now you are doing it, and it is a routine, and now you're an entrepreneur and you're a business person and your skin looks amazing. And I'm sure that most of your friends at your age are probably like, yo, like, why is your skin like that? And now you can look directly back on the influence of your mother.
Mm-hmm. I remember in middle school, even everyone always compliment on my skin, and I'd be like, I don't know, this is just how I'm raised. Like, this is what I'm doing. I noticed my friends weren't doing the routines I was doing, so I'm very thankful for for the upbringing. I remember asking my dad one time, you know, men are sometimes very simple. He's like, oh, yeah, I just wash with soap and water. And I was like, oh, and that kind of shocked me. I was like, that's all you do? I was kind of confused because I'm a little bit closer to my mother.
Okay, all right. And let's talk about that because, again, that's part of the stigma. I think that men, you know, you don't need to do that. You just do this and just get it done kind of a mentality. Talk about some of the science behind the importance of us taking care of our skin.
Okay, so it's extremely important for men to have non-toxic, all-natural cosmetics and skincare. And I say cosmetics because that kind of reaches a broad spectrum of products. Cosmetics isn't necessarily lipsticks. It's lip balms that men could use. It's all kinds of products, concealers men can use. Men get tired and they get dark circles under their eyes too, So there's many products that are unisex. We developed an AMH line, which is adult male human, a Wikipedia definition of, a male. And that is all natural, organic, men's grooming products. We have a face and beard oil that's also nourishing for the skin. You can put it on your head, you can put it in your hair, whatever.
I got a feeling you're trying to say something here. Just because I'm follically challenged.
No, you're just taller than your hair.
Good one. I like that. All right.
No, I'm just teasing. But and we have some Luxe lip balms for men too in the AMH line, which have a hemp seed oil base and some really wonderful nutrients in it. And I said that to say because we feel that it's just as important for men to have really healthy organic skincare products as women. Now, all of Jersey Shore Cosmetics skincare products and cosmetics and so forth are unisex, but some men don't like the idea of having cosmetics written on their packaging, so we do psychological packaging, and we have an AMH men's line. The girls or young ladies can use the AMH products because they're all natural, organic, nourishing oils and butters and that sort of thing, and vice versa. So both men and women can use both product lines. It is very important. Men have the same skin as women. I mean, some may feel their skin is tougher, but they're men with delicate skin, sensitive skin. So it's really important that you cleanse properly, that you nourish the skin properly. And as important as topical applications is what you eat, okay? I studied food and food science and nutrition many, many, many years ago, and I'm trying to incorporate the nutrition part into the skincare part, so that the products that we develop to put on your skin, they're going to enter your bloodstream, so they must be good for you. They must be healthy and full of vitamins and nutrients and that sort of thing, and antioxidants and that sort of thing. So, we're all humans, so men are just as important as women, in our opinion. So it's really important for men to use the same grooming as women, for the face and body. And we have wonderful products for both.
Well, I can tell you, folks, my background in studying anatomy and physiology, while I was doing massage therapy, your skin is the largest organ in your body.
Yes, it is.
Just let that settle in. Your skin is the largest organ in your body. And not only is it a defense, but it is also something that holds in whatever it is that's on the inside of your body.
Exactly.
So Dennis, and I'm speaking with Dennis and Jackie Quattro, who are the owners of Jersey Shore Cosmetics, and the website is jerseyshorecosmetics.com, and coming December 9th, Sunday, December 9th, from 4 to 8 p.m. at Blowout Lounge and Color Bar in Hamilton Square, New Jersey. They are having a VIP event unveiling some of their new products, some bold colors, etc. And you can go to the Facebook page, Trenton 365 Show, scroll through, and you can see some of the images of the time that I spent at Blowout Lounge and Color Bar. So, Dennis, I want you to talk a bit about, from a male perspective, like the routine. Like, what's the routine that your mom helped you to get accustomed to, but the one that you're currently using?
Okay, so my mom would always, she said clean skin is like the base. So you definitely scrubs, and then after that, of course, that dries out your skin, so moisturizers. But she taught me a lot about serums as well, like vitamin C serum, which is a new product that we actually added to our line, and water. Drink lots of water. That's one of her biggest beauty tips, and it's true. I noticed it instantly. If I have a day where I'm really, I have my gallon of water, my skin clears up immediately. And she always taught me about healthy vitamins like biotin, lysine. Those things cleared up any blemishes on my skin immediately, within the day.
Now, I know that there's a lot of people in the listening and viewing audience, especially men, who say, I don't have any time for this. I've got no interest in this. I think I look fine. I don't need to have a flawless facial skin, any of those types of things. What would you like to say to them?
I would say the most important thing is drinking plenty of clean water. Okay, proper hydration is key. Okay, so if you're drinking plenty of clean water and you wash and moisturize your skin, you're good to go, pretty much. I think you need to work from the inside out. If you're eating a proper diet, a nutritious diet with lots of leafy greens and fibers and protein and so forth, you don't really have to do a lot to your skin. I'm not going to be here trying to sell you. I'm going to be very honest with you. Drink plenty of clean water, and not all water is clean water. Read your water bottle labels or what have you. Make sure it's just pure spring water and nothing else. You can hydrate with, when you wash your face when it's still damp, you can use a blend of really wonderful, nourishing oils. You don't have to get those fancy creams and moisturizers that cost enormous amounts of money. They were probably filled with some degree of toxins anyway. So use a light textured serum. We have a vitamin C serum with an oil base because we don't use all those like silicones and other items in the treatment products. So it's very simple. Yes, you don't need all those millions of products. You need to cleanse, you need to hydrate, and you need to moisturize. Okay, and you're good.
You can make time for that.
You can make time for that. Just, eat right and hydrate from the inside out. Drink plenty of water. That's key. My mother, Grace Foster, she broke a world record several years ago. They called her the fastest granny in the world several years ago. I forget what year that was, but Jack could probably tell us. Anyhow, she, when the news teams went to interview or whatever, and they're like, do you have some, nutrient or supplement or some secret? And she's like, yeah, my secret is water. Drink plenty of water and you're good. Mm-hmm. And she was like nearly 90 when she broke the world record, so she's over 100 today. And so we're taking our cues from my mom and his grandmom.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a great segue to talk about the water that Jersey Shore Cosmetics puts out that bears the name Quattro water. So let's talk about that.
Oh, thank you. It's Quattro H2O. It's pure spring water. We don't have any sodium or chloride or any garbage in our water. It's just pure spring water. It's bottled at the source of the spring, and it's triple filtered because it's coming right from nature and right from earth. So there's probably some earth things in there like leaves and so forth. So it's triple filtered at the source and bottled at the source. So it's not being trucked anywhere. It's not being mishandled, and it's not municipal water that's been purified or anything like this. It's pure spring water, the Quattro H2O, pure hydration. And we have a caffeinated water, which people are like, caffeine in water? Yes. Our pure caffeine water is pure spring water. It's enhanced with pure caffeine. It's a coffee bean and coffee leaf, and it had some ionized minerals, which are called I'm sorry.
It happens. Don't worry about it.
Okay. It's I'm sorry. The name of the water is Pure Energy. Okay, because it has caffeine. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And so those two waters are really big sellers on Amazon, and we stand behind them because they're pure and they're clean, and they have been lab tested to be among the cleanest water in the world. Okay, and so a lot of those other waters out there, smart waters and so forth, I'm not speaking of a particular brand, but I'm using that as an adjective, are purified municipal water. Like they're literally tap water that's been cleansed or bleached or whatever, and you don't want that. You want clean water in your system to hydrate properly and for the health of your body. A lot of those other waters with additives can cause breakouts, can cause upset stomach and so forth. And believe it or not, some bottled water companies add sodium and salt so that it makes you more thirsty, so you keep drinking and drinking and you never quench that thirst. So I really feel comfortable, and I feel really, really happy about our new spring waters. So that's Quattro H2O, pure spring water. It's called Pure Hydration, and then the caffeinated water is called Pure Energy. It has natural caffeine in it and pure spring water. And that's really wonderful in the summertime when you don't want a hot cup of coffee. You get your full hydration, you get that spring water, and then you get that little boost of caffeine. And it's just very mild. It's about as much as a half a cup of coffee in a bottle. So it's not going to give you any like jumpy feelings, and it's not going to cause your heart to race or anything like that. It's just going to give you a little bit of energy and a lot of hydration.
Mm-hmm. Now, we're just about up on the end of the program, so we got about 90 seconds or so left. But I do want you to talk about the actual, where you can get the product. I know you can get it on your website, jerseyshorecosmetics.com, but are there retail establishments where you can get your products?
Yes. Okay. So we have the Blowout Lounge and Color Bar in Hamilton, New Jersey, is carrying the full line of Jersey Shore Cosmetics, and we hope to expand and get in a lot of other salons and retail stores. We also, the water you can pick up in a couple of gyms. We have a Powerhouse Gym in North Jersey, and we have a Gold's Gym in North Jersey, and a couple of health food stores, a few too many to name. So if you go into a health food store or a retail establishment and they're not carrying, just ask for it and they can contact us and we'll get it to them immediately. So, and also our e-commerce website, jerseyshorecosmetics.com. We'll ship it to you right away, whatever you need. And of course, the water is doing very well on Amazon.com. So you can go on Amazon and get both types of water, both the caffeine and the spring water on Amazon.com.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Thank
Jackie
you.
and Dennis Quattro of Jersey Shore Cosmetics, thank you for your time.
You're
I can't
welcome.
wait to see the event on Sunday.
thank
I
you.
will be in the house with some
yay.
folks taking some pictures and doing some interviews, etc. And all the information will be up on the Trenton 365 Show Facebook page and also through the other social media sites. You guys promised to come back and give me an update on how things are going?
Yes, thank you for having us, Jack. We
Thank
really
you so
appreciate
much.
it. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. It's my pleasure.
Okay.
You've been listening and watching the Trenton 365 Show. Segment 1 is over. Stay tuned for segment number 2. You can always reach out to me by calling 609-433-0489 or by sending an email, trenton365show@gmail.com.
Y'all not ready for this? DCC. Hey. All I wanna do
Trenton365 Show. You can send me an email, Trenton365show@gmail.com. And you can follow me on Facebook, Trenton365 Show, and on Instagram and Twitter @Trenton365. So, there's some people who I bring onto the show, and it's always magical. Todd Evans is one of those guys who is an amazing poet, artist, spoken word. He's an Eagles fan, which I love, and I'm sure him and I are probably feeling a bit better after last night's victory over the Redskins. But Todd's multi-generational. His family has been involved in theater, writing, performing arts, etc. And I was telling Todd earlier, and it's the first time this year that I'm having you on the program. I'm a little disappointed that it's been a whole year since I had you on the show. But when I'm out and about, when I'm going to events, every time spoken word comes up or poetry in the region, people are like, oh, you got to talk to Todd Evans. You got to talk to Todd Evans. And it's always very, very positive. And I'm like, yeah, I know Todd. Like Todd's my boy. He's on all the time. Like, oh, all right. So I got to start looking to your show for spoken word artists and so forth. I'm like, yeah, for the most part. But Todd, man, big up to you. It's such a pleasure to have you back on the show.
Well, I'm honored, and I work hard at what I do, but it's fun at the same time because it's giving back. When I first started in this spoken word poetry journey, there were a bunch of people that were around for me. So I'm glad that I could be around for others.
And I'll tell you what, man, and that's another thing, is that's what people, I assume now that you said that, I think that's what people are doing. People recognize and honor the fact of what you're doing, whether it's in Trenton, Burlington, Willingboro, or wherever you're doing spoken word, that you're one of those beacons for the craft. And I think that people respect that. And that's why I think that they're always saying, yo, you got to talk to Todd Evans. So let's go back a little bit and let's talk about your father and him and in performing arts. And then let's bring it up to where you are now with what you're doing.
Well, my father was a college professor here at, now it's the College of New Jersey, then it was Trenton State College. And he was also a playwright, and he did things in the Trenton area, especially with community theater. And I kind of grew up in that environment. My mother also worked in the arts. She taught theater at the Y downtown in Trenton. And I grew up in that environment. And I learned a lot from them, and my father was also a professional playwright. He had plays off Broadway and stuff. So I got to go to a lot of the events, and I always wanted to be a poet, but when I got to a certain age, I kind of put it down and started dabbling in a whole different world that, it cost me a lot of pain and took me away from the arts. But with the passing of my parents, I was able to put that stuff away, which was drugs in the street. I'm not going to lie. And I was able to put that away and get back to what I originally loved, which was the arts.
And so your father was the Don Evans Players.
Yes, that's the name of... I started a theater group in his name, pretty much on the same scale of community arts like he did in the city. And I just was blessed to have some people that actually worked with him who have been guiding me. Alma Day and Frank Bridgewater, Trentonian residents who were in my father's company, who kind of helped me start this one. There's also a lady named Ivy Avery who worked with my dad, and I can always, depend on a word of advice or something from her. She's guided me. So there's been a lot of people who helped me keep the legacy going. And we started out mainly based, the Don Evans Players Theater Group, out of Willingboro, but we've been expanding and doing things here in Trenton, New Jersey, which is what I always wanted. And we have a young theater group, the Junior Players, which is also doing things now. And we hooked up with the Trenton African American Cultural Collaborative. We did a production at Mercer County College just a few months ago. And it was really a blessing.
Now, let's talk about the outlets that you have, because again, what you're doing is so well recognized in Mercer County, but also Burlington County, and in different areas as well. Talk about how you've expanded doing spoken word, and not just from performing, but from actually coordinating it as well.
Well, that's where I've gotten to now, and some of it is because I'm getting older. You know, before I was like a dynamo here, there, and there. And I can still do that, but I feel it. So I've been getting a lot of help from a lot of people. I hooked up with the Trenton African American Cultural Collaborative, and they have a pop-up poetry event, which I was the host of it last year and pretty much most of this year. And it's every third Friday of the month. But this year it moves to different businesses and places in the Trenton area to actuate the place itself. And a young man by the name of Giovanni Williams has taken over for me. Mm-hmm. And we like to say I groomed him, but he knew what to do already. And he's doing a great job. And that is every third Friday. The next one is at the Trenton Library. Mm-hmm. On December 20th. There's a bunch of features, and it's free. Starts at 5 p.m. I still do an open mic at Classics Bookstore. We're going on like 7 years now. Eric Maywar has opened up his doors for us. It was actually just this past weekend. And that's every first Saturday, 2 p.m. And it's a real family vibe there, you know. The area where we have the open mic is no bigger than this here, mm-hmm. But the vibe is just great. You know, we've had people perform from 8 years old to 80, and they just have a good time. And you know, in the arts. And the other thing I like about it is that I raised boys and I had a family, and I know a lot of people don't have money to make some of these other events and stuff. So I try to make mine free or as cheap as they can be. Mm-hmm. But Classics is free too. That's every first Saturday, 2 p.m., 4 West Lafayette Street, Classics Bookstore. And then I do Willenboro Open Mic, which is every third Friday. Next one is December 21st. There'll be a young lady there by the name of Amaya Rockstar, a young rapper, honor student. So I hope people can come out and see her at 7 p.m. I'm doing something this month with, he also said to tell you what's up, Stacy Heading.
Hey, what's up, Stacy?
For the Task Soup Kitchen, there's going to be an open mic, and that's December 13th. People from the Soup Kitchen are going to be performing, a band there, and we're looking for artists who would like to come out to perform and support. You can contact me or Stacy Heading. You can reach both of us on Facebook.
All right.
Lastly, doing something January 17th at Rivera Middle School, and that's a literacy night. It's going to be an open mic from 4 to 6, and that's on Montgomery Street in Trenton.
Now, there's a theme, right, with this, and it's very communal, like very community-based. And what's the idea behind wanting to do spoken word and performing arts and making it community-related?
Well, because I kind of grew up in it, you know, my father would bring, he would bring all different kinds of people in this community theater. And even though he worked in a professional theater, like my dad worked with guys like James Earl Jones, Morgan Freeman, so on and so on. But his love was community theater, the mailman who came to rehearsal after work and stuff like that. And exposing them to the arts, and it just passed on to more and more people that it was actually a community, which eventually moved to Mill Hill, which became Passage, which, but it was like a small seed that just grew bigger. And that's what's happening with a lot of my events. Like a young lady who used to come to my open mic as a kid, she now is doing one. Her name is Trinity. She's doing one at, it's right on Prospect Street, down the street from the reservoir. The Y. She does open mic there. And, I've seen a lot of young artists, start their own things. And it makes me proud seeing them, branch out.
Mm-hmm. And I want you to stick with that the pride that you feel with this, because I think a lot of times we don't really fully embrace what we've done and how we've helped to develop either individuals or a scene or like a community. How does that feel to you to know that you're making a major impact for spoken word and poetry in like the whole Central Jersey region?
Well, it's a good feeling, and it's the right feeling, I think, because when I first started, I met a lot of guys who I still look up to, in the business, but some of them didn't necessarily take the time out to embrace a new poet. It was like, you find out how to do it on your own, or, I was brushed away by, a couple cats, and it hurt. But there were other ones who embraced, guided me, and just helped me to get better as an artist. And that's what I want to try to do for others. And you find out that you learn more while you're doing that. For instance, we did something for, I guess you can go, a man who loves Trenton, Yusef Komanyaka, Pulitzer Prize winning poet.
Right here in Trenton.
Yes. And he came out, and, I was like, I'm going to sit down and say hello to him and then, just get out of his way. Mm-hmm. But the guy was so humble and so giving, and he sat down with me and Giovanni and just talked to us for, 20 minutes about poetry and, giving us his experience and insight. And I'll never be as great as Yusef Komanyaka, but I want to be as humble, if that makes sense.
Well, it really does. And I not only do I see it, but when people come up to me and they're willing to speak on your behalf, that to me says a lot.
Yes.
So I think that you are right in that same vein. We're up on a short break here, but Todd, share your contact information quickly.
Sure. It's best to get me by email, tcevans33@gmail.com, or you can also hit the Willingboro Open Mic page up. That's on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, Todd Evans, and those are probably the best ways to reach me, especially the email. I always check it.
All right, fantastic. I've got Todd Evans, who is not only an educator, and I'm going to use that term, and we'll get into that a little bit later on, but he's a very big supporter of performing arts, spoken word, and poetry here in the region. And you're listening and watching the Trenton 365 show.
Passage Theater Company presents a live radio stage play. It's a Wonderful Life, featuring Miss June Ballinger, Mr. David Lee White, and special guest appearance, Miss Sarah Dash. All happening one night only, December the 8th at 5 p.m. For more information about It's a Wonderful Life, contact Passage Theater at 609-392-0766 or visit passagetheater.org.
If you have dreamed of getting your college degree, there has never been a better time to be a New Jersey resident. Through the state's new Community College Opportunity Grant Program, Mercer County Community College is offering free tuition to county residents who qualify. Tuition awards will be applied after all other financial aid, and your household income may not exceed $45,000. The college is hosting multiple information sessions about this life-changing opportunity. Learn more by visiting mccc.edu/free. That's mccc.edu/free.
And welcome back to the Trenton 365 show. You can send me an email, trenton365show@gmail.com, and you can always post your events to the Trenton 365 community calendar page on Facebook. Events like the ones that Todd has been talking about, such as the third Thursday at the Trenton Free Public Library, the first Saturday at Classics Bookstore in Trenton, New Jersey, and the third Friday in Willingboro, as well as the event that's coming up with Task, Trenton Area Soup Kitchen, and Rivera Middle School. All kinds of events like that are available on there. You just got to scroll through and check it out. And I encourage you to like those and also share them from that page, because that's how we can kind of build this network and community. And I've got Todd Evans in the studio, who's a spoken word artist. He's a poet. But I want to talk about you as an educator. And when I say as an educator, I've got some friends from Regis Entertainment who are all educators, and we do these jazz programs. And they're teachers. I mean, they go to classrooms. They're teachers. And I'm always talking about how important that is, of having good educators in your life, and how like you're creating this foundation and people remember their teachers, the good ones, forever. And they said to me, well, you're educating too. You're just not doing it in the classroom. And like a light bulb went off in my head. And then I was thinking about you, because you just sat here. You've got so many students that are willing to say, nah, Todd Evans. No, you got to talk to Todd Evans. Spoken word, Todd Evans. Poetry, Todd Evans. So how do you embrace that idea that you're actually an educator as well?
I think what it is with me, it's, I hope I'm saying the right, a reciprocity. In other words, somebody did it for me. So I don't, it's not only an obligation, but it's paying it forward and backwards, if that makes sense. Take the late, great Trenton jazz and R&B musician Clifford Adams. There was a couple of times I performed at events where he was at, and he knew my father, and he's performed with my little brother Orrin, and he knew of my family. And I was performing somewhere there, and he took the time to listen to me. And he came and told me little things about it. Then he asked me, could he play with me on this next tune, on this next piece that I did. And just him taking that time, man, I was on cloud 9 for like 6 months after that. I was writing and working hard. And it was just that he took the time out to see something in me that pushed me even further. And then, he asked me to come to a couple of his gigs after that, and he gave me such a push for it that I could not do that for somebody else the same way. And to him, it didn't even seem like he was doing a lot. But, he was doing everything for me. The way I saw it, I was like, Clifford Adams, listen to my... And I was so grateful for that. So that's kind of the same. Again, I'll never be as great as artist as he was, but I'll be the best that I can be, and I want to give some back, just like somebody gave it to me.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, that is super encouraging to hear, and I want you to know that you do it as well. I mean, you're doing it as well.
That makes my day.
Yeah, and cool, great. And I think more of us need to think about that as we go forward. Think about, those simple things, those conversations, especially if you're someone who's of a influence in whatever realm that is. Like coming along and helping someone out who's having a difficult time, or sharing a technique or a leg up or a hand up or whatever it is to someone else, how much further that goes. I mean, man, it almost brings tears to my eyes, because that is exactly what we as a community, as human beings, live for and thrive for. There's nothing that we would be able to do if someone didn't take the time out to encourage us, to assist us, to pave the way for us. Yeah. And when we don't do that for someone else, I don't want to be a roadblock.
Yep.
I want to give everything away, because I'm only going to be here for a little while. What's 70, 80, 90, 100 years for eternity? That means nothing.
You're absolutely right.
So you're doing it, man, and be encouraged. Folks, I want to tell you, please reach out to Todd. Even if you don't understand the genre of spoken word and poetry, maybe you're not even into it. That's cool. But reach out to Todd, talk to him, and just see, because you may have the ability to impact another life or create and support a marketplace. We live in New Jersey, which is one of the wealthiest states in the country. Mercer County is one of the wealthiest counties in the country. It's one of the most diverse populations in the country. If you can make an impact here, the ripple effect of that impact will be global. And there's simple ways for you to do that. And it's not always with money, although money helps. But time, talent, treasures, all of those different things can make a major impact. If you really want to make a difference in the lives of some young people, and some people who may be disadvantaged or whatever, maybe it's not always giving to a national organization or supporting a national organization. Maybe it's as simple as going to an open mic once a month and dropping a few dollars in that restaurant or that location, or buying a book from that local bookstore instead of going to the big book house or Amazon or any of those things, because you have the ability to make a larger impact when you drill down on it at a micro level. And I encourage you to reach out to Todd Evans. The email is the best way. tcevans33, the numbers 33 at gmail.com. tcevans33 at gmail.com. So it's Tango Charlie Evans 33 at gmail.com. You can catch him the first Saturday at Classics Books and Gifts in Trenton, New Jersey, used bookstore on Lafayette Street. The third Thursday at the Trenton Free Public Library in Trenton. And the third Friday in Willingboro. And is that at the Willingboro Center?
Willingboro Kennedy Center.
The Willingboro Kennedy Center.
And that's on JFK Way.
JFK Way, yep.
Yes.
Okay. And just check this out for yourself. I mean, one of the things that amazed me when we started talking, a few years back about poetry and spoken word was, again, the range of people who are talented. You said you had an event recently. You had someone who was 8 years old and someone who was 80 years old.
Yep.
So even those of you who are listening and viewing audience, 8 years old isn't too young. Bring the children out. It's a family-friendly event. There are some events that may be a bit more adult-driven, but all you got to do is check with Todd. He'll tell you, no, this might not be the spot to bring children for this particular event. And sometimes we need to have those hard conversations and discussions about social issues and justice issues. And we need to have people communicate in a way that they feel comfortable, because certain words lift up movements, etc. But Todd, I'd like for you to just kind of drill down on the importance of this whole idea of a marketplace for performing arts and for spoken word here in this region.
Well, one of the things I've noticed now is that even though it's a poetry-based spoken word event, we've got musicians coming out, we've got dancers, comedians, so the whole arts thing is involved. Don't think that because your thing is not poetry that you can't bring it. In Willingboro, we had a magician come one night. The arts is so eclectic that I try to bring it all together. And far as the marketplace, just recently there's a young man from Trenton who just went to the Apollo for tap dancing, and he made it to come back again. The life of me, his name is slipping my tongue. But when I looked at him online, I said, I know this kid. And about maybe 4 years ago, we used to do this event in the park with the Trenton African American Cultural Collaborative, and I did a little poetry stage. And he came up, and the stage wasn't just like the size of a little, maybe bigger than this table right here. And he wanted to tap dance, and he found a way. He got up there on the wood and did it, and 4 years later, he's at the Apollo finalist. So wherever you take your talent, if you work hard at it, you can go to that next level, because this gentleman worked really hard. But he started, at a smaller place, and that's what's been going on with a lot of artists. Like you had a young poet I was working with named Maya. She was on here before, I think. And now she's performing all over the place, you know, and taking it to the next level. So I guess we can be like a starting gate.
That's it. Hey, I think that's a great way to end this segment. Todd, share your contact information one more time.
Okay, tcevans33 at gmail.com, or you can go to my Facebook page, Todd Evans, That's 2 D's, and you also can contact me through the Willingboro Open Mic page, which is also on Facebook.
Fantastic. Todd Evans, it's always a pleasure to have you, man, and to see you, man. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Sure thing. You're welcome. Folks, you've been listening and watching the Trenton 365 show generally from 8 to 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights, with a television broadcast the following Friday nights at 11 p.m. over WPHY, Channel 25. If you want to send me an email, it's Trenton365show@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter as well, at Trenton365. And keep your eyes open for the newest edition of this, Trenton 365 Live. Have a great night and a great week, folks. Good night.